All right, let's dive in. Today we're tackling Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Oh, this is a good one.
You know that book, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about how small changes lead to big results.
Yeah. And it's full of research and examples.
You know I love that kind of stuff. Gets right to the point.
Totally. Straight to the good stuff. And that's what we're doing here today.
Yeah, pulling out the best tips for building good habits and ditching the bad ones.
Sounds like a plan.
So one thing that grabbed me right away was this idea of a plateau of latent potential.
Interesting.
Have you ever felt like you're working hard but not seeing results?
Ugh, all the time.
Clear says our efforts compound over time. They don't show up right away.
Makes sense.
Like he uses this analogy of an ice cube melting. You heat it up, but nothing happens until it hits 32 degrees.
Oh, I get it. Then boom, it melts.
Right. So we get discouraged when we don't see instant progress, but those overnight successes take years of work.
It's all behind the scenes, yeah.
And that brings us to consistency, a huge theme in the book. Clear says it's not about big changes, but small improvements every day.
Little by little.
Those tiny 1% adjustments that add up over time.
Yeah, like compound interest. It all adds up.
Okay, now here's where things get even more interesting. Clear talks about identity-based habits.
Okay, what's that?
He basically says it's hard to change if your beliefs don't match the habits you're trying to form.
Like if you think yourself as a spender, it's hard to become a saver.
Yeah, exactly. It's like your actions are reinforcing that spender identity.
So you got to change the way you see yourself first.
It seems like it. Clear says we should focus on who we want to be, not just what we want to achieve.
Interesting. So instead of I want to lose weight, it's I want to be a healthy person.
Right. It's about shifting from outcome-based goals to identity-based goals.
I like that.
Every action is a vote for the person you want to become. Choose a salad. You're voting for a healthy person.
Makes sense.
Speaking of actions, Clear breaks down how habits form with this thing called the habit loop.
Oh yeah, the loop.
It's a 4-stage pattern. Cue, craving, response, and reward.
Right. Like, can you give an example to make it clear?
Sure, think about scrolling through social media when you're bored.
Yeah.
The cue is the boredom, the craving is for distraction.
The response is picking up your phone, and the reward is that little dopamine hit.
You got it. But how do we use this habit loop to actually change our habits?
Well, if any stage of the loop is weak, the habit won't stick. So we can try to strengthen the stages for good habits or weaken them for bad ones.
Oh, I see. So to reduce social media time, you could eliminate boredom cues or make it harder to reach for your phone?
Exactly. You could find other activities or put your phone in another room.
All right, so the habit loop helps us understand the triggers and rewards behind our behaviors. But knowing is only half the battle, right?
Yeah. How do we actually change these habits?
That's where Clear's 4 laws of behavior change come in. They give us a framework for making good habits irresistible and bad habits less appealing.
Okay, let's hear them.
Which one should we tackle first?
Let's start with the second law. Make it attractive.
All right, make it attractive, but how? Some habits are just boring.
It's about understanding dopamine. Our brains release it in anticipation of a reward.
So, like, the anticipation is more powerful than the reward itself.
You got it. So Clear suggests something called temptation bundling.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, you pair something you want to do with something you need to do.
Like watching your favorite show while you're on the treadmill.
Bingo. Or listening to your favorite podcast while doing chores.
So you make the boring thing more fun by associating it with something you enjoy.
Exactly. You're basically hijacking that dopamine pathway.
Smart. So we've made the habit attractive. But what about breaking bad habits? Those temptations are already super strong.
Well, that's where the other laws of behavior change come into play.
You're killing me. I guess we'll have to wait for the next deep dive.
Stay tuned. We've got 3 more laws to uncover.
All right, listeners, we'll be back soon with more atomic insights from James Clear. Okay, back again. Last time we were digging into James Clear's atomic habits.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We talked about the habit loop and how to make good habits more appealing with the second law of behavior change.
Make it attractive.
But let's get real. Knowing I shouldn't eat all those chips doesn't stop me when they're in the pantry.
I hear ya. Willpower only goes so far.
So what do we do?
Well, that's where Clear's first law of behavior change kicks in. make it invisible.
Make it invisible?
He says we got to remove temptation, not just fight it.
So not even having to say no, just taking it out of the picture.
Exactly. Like those notification badges on your phone.
Oh, yeah. Those are designed to be tempting.
Just turning them off makes a huge difference.
It's like that saying, out of sight, out of mind.
Totally. And Clear also talks about our social environment. Like we mimic the habits of people around us.
Makes sense. Like if your friends are all gym rats, you're more likely to work out too.
Right. There was this study about obesity spreading through social networks.
Oh, wow. Like it's contagious.
Kinda. Claire calls it the close friends and family effect.
So find friends who already do what you want to do.
Surround yourself with good habits. It makes a difference.
So choose your friends wisely. Okay, let's move on to Clear's third law. Make it easy.
Oh, I like this one. Easy.
Effortless is my middle name. What's the strategy here?
The 2-minute rule.
2 minutes, huh?
You break down habits into tiny steps, like 2 minutes max.
So instead of a whole workout, just putting on my workout clothes?
Yeah. Or if you want to write, commit to just 2 minutes a day.
Make it so easy you can't say no.
Exactly. Once you start, you're more likely to keep going.
That's psychology in action.
Clear also talks about environment design, making good habits convenient and bad habits harder.
Like swapping candy for fruit on the counter.
You got it. Or keeping a book on your bedside table to encourage reading.
Set yourself up for success. Make it the easy choice.
Okay, so we've made good habits invisible, easy, and attractive. What's next?
Bring on the grand finale. What's the last piece?
The fourth law, make it satisfying.
Okay, satisfaction. Do we need prizes for every good habit?
Not necessarily, but some reward is key. Clear suggests using immediate rewards to reinforce behavior.
Even small ones.
Even tiny ones, like checking off a box on a habit tracker.
Oh, I love habit trackers. So visual.
Yeah, it's like leveling up in a video game.
Yeah.
But even more important is finding satisfaction in the habit itself.
So enjoying the workout, not just focusing on the weight loss.
Yeah, finding that intrinsic motivation, shift from have to get to.
But sometimes, even with satisfaction, those temptations are just too strong.
Yeah, like knowing I should save money doesn't mean I won't buy those shoes.
So true. What about that?
That brings us to the habit contract.
Interesting. Tell me more.
It's about making bad habits costly now, not just in the future.
Immediate consequences.
Clear tells this story about an entrepreneur, Brian Harris, who wanted to lose weight.
Okay, what did he do?
He made a habit contract with his wife and trainer.
What was in the contract?
If he missed workouts or ate bad food, he had to pay his wife money.
Oh,
And if he skipped sprints, he had to wear his rival team's hat for a whole quarter.
That's brutal, but effective.
It worked. He lost the weight and reached his goals.
So the contract made those bad habits less appealing because of the immediate cost.
It's self-imposed accountability. Sometimes we need that extra push.
Makes sense. Okay, switching gears a bit. Clear also talks about finding your ideal habits.
Right, not everyone's the same.
So we're not just stuck with our genetics. We have some choice.
Absolutely. Clear calls it the explore-exploit trade-off.
Like that.
You try different things, see what you like and what works for you, then focus on those.
Like finding your strengths, what you're naturally good at.
Exactly. Clear says, can't find a game where you win, create one.
Love that. Create your own game where you can win.
He talks about Scott Adams, the Dilbert guy, who combined drawing and business to create his niche.
Oh yeah, Dilbert. So he combined his skills to stand out.
You don't have to be the best at everything, just find your unique combo.
Be different, not just better.
Right. And speaking of what works for you, Clear also says successful people aren't always motivated.
Wait, what? Even Olympians have off days.
Totally. Even they have days where they don't want to train. But they've built systems that help them show up anyway.
So it's not about feeling motivated all the time. It's about having systems in place.
Yeah, they make it automatic so they don't have to rely on willpower.
That's encouraging. So what else do successful people do?
They understand the power of variable rewards.
Like those surprises that keep you hooked on video games.
Exactly. You never know when you'll level up, so you keep playing. You could apply that to life, too.
How?
Add surprise to your routine, try new things to keep it interesting.
Like a new workout class or a different podcast.
Yeah, mix it up. Now, what about reflection? Does Clear talk about that?
I was wondering the same thing.
He says top performers review their progress regularly.
So taking time to see what's working and what's not.
Exactly. He gives the example of the Lakers, who tracked even the smallest improvements.
So it's about setting goals and having a system to measure progress.
Yep. And even Olympic champion Eliud Kipchoge takes notes after every practice.
Wow, even at that level, it's about that constant drive to improve.
That's the growth mindset.
Hmm.
And it leads us to the final part of this deep dive, where we'll see how small changes can have a huge impact.
Looking forward to it. Stay tuned, listeners, for part 3, where we'll wrap up all these atomic insights. Back again for part 3 of our deep dive into atomic habits.
We've covered a lot of ground already.
Yeah, we've gone through the habit loop, the 4 laws of behavior change.
Even how to figure out which habits work best for you.
Right. But I'm curious, what's the point of all this habit stuff?
Well, Clear says it's not just about outcomes like losing weight or getting promoted.
There's something deeper.
It's about shaping your identity, who you are at your core.
That idea keeps coming up, those identity-based habits.
Because each action is like a vote for the person you want to be.
So if I work out consistently, I'm voting for healthy person.
Exactly. And if you write regularly, you're voting for writer.
It's not just changing behavior, it's changing how we see ourselves.
Clear says our current behaviors reflect our current identity.
Like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Kinda. But our identities aren't fixed. They change as we grow.
So we got to be open to that change.
Yeah, adjust our identities as we learn and grow.
So it's not about being stuck in one definition of ourselves. It's about becoming the best version.
Exactly. And as we build good habits, we see ourselves as capable of more.
We start believing in ourselves more.
And that brings us to another point. Clear makes true happiness doesn't come from reaching a goal.
Wait, really? But we're always told happiness is about the destination.
He says it's about the process, the journey, not just the end point.
That's different.
He has this quote, "Happiness is the space between one desire being fulfilled and a new desire forming."
So we're always wanting something, then getting it, then wanting something else.
It's that anticipation that drives us.
But if it's fleeting, how do we ever find true happiness?
Clear says satisfaction comes after we take action, from striving towards our goals.
So it's about finding joy in the process, even if we don't reach the goal.
Yeah, like the journey is the reward.
I've heard that one.
He says we need both wanting and liking to sustain a habit.
The desire to start and the enjoyment to keep going.
It's about finding that sweet spot where effort feels worthwhile.
It's not always easy, though. This whole habit thing takes work.
It does. But it's about creating a life aligned with our values.
Not just reacting, but consciously shaping our habits and our future.
And it all starts with one small step.
One atomic change that sets everything in motion.
So what's one small step you can take today to build the identity you want?
That's the question to leave you with. Go out there and build those atomic habits. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.